Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Sefer Shmuel Base. Oh, I'm in Shmuel Aleph. But welcome back to Sefer Shmuel Base. We are beginning the fourth parak today. Just to recap what we are up to, it's so hard to keep track of all the names and the people and the events. Every parak in Sefer Shmuel really is jam-packed with loads of information and with the drama really moving things forward rather quickly. Avner, we have two sides of the Jewish kingdom right now upon the death of Shaul. You have Team David with Yoav on one side, and then you have Ishbosheth as King Shaul's son, along with Avner. Avner reached out to David and asked for a peace treaty. And while that looked great, and maybe that was a moment for great potential, Yoav was very suspicious of Avner, and Yoav, at the very end of Paragimel, had Avner killed. He killed him himself. Avner had killed Ishbosheth's brother, Asael, and this was vengeful. David took no part in that, obviously, and he publicly mourned him several different ways and several different times. But now we are up to the aftermath of this. What happens when people hear about this? When there was potential, the last thing they heard from Avner was that David wants to make a treaty with him and the Jewish kingdom is going to be one again. And now what happens next when they hear that Avner was killed? Not just killed, he was murdered by Yoav. What's going to happen to the Jewish people next? These moments of anarchy potentially can lead to a tremendous amount of disruption and in a country. Vayishma ben Shaul kimes Avner bechevron. First things first, the son of Shaul, Ishbosheth, well, according to most Mefarshim, that's who we're referring to over here, hears that Avner dies in Hebron. Avner was his closest advocate, and in fact, and it not only just being a close confidant or advocate, but he was like his biggest ally, and he was his supporter in a way that you need people that have the strength to show that you are supportive. If someone's running for president, it's great. Anybody can run for president. You have to fit a few different boxes, but anybody can run for president. But it's not until you get the endorsements of other people that the public trusts that people will start, paying attention to you. The person that the public trusted was not Ishbosheth. The person the public trusted was Avner. And now Avner is dead. And now what happens? The Yirpu Yadav, Ishbosheth's hands become weak. While maybe upon hearing the news, his body becomes weak and physically he becomes weak, this really tells us that his strength, his stature amongst the Jewish people right now is at an all-time low. Who wants him to become king? No one's interested in him becoming king. And at the same time, a different reaction happens to the rest of the nation. V'chol Yisrael nivhalu, the rest of the people are, nivhalu has different interpretations. One is they were in fear. It's a real fear. What does this mean for everybody else? Does this mean that the David and Yoav are going to lay attack on the rest of the Jewish people for not following him? What's going to happen next? It's very unclear. Shaul dies in battle, and now Ishbosheth dies. We need, leadership and countries and need consistency, consistent leadership. We can't have, not knowing what's going to happen from day to day. Others explain that they were just shocked. They were shocked to their core that this was happening. People were afraid of what might happen next. Ushnei anashim, now the Navi tells us about two people, Sarei Gedudim Hayu ben Shaul. They were company commanders to Shaul. to Ben Shaul, to Ishboshet. It's not even mentioning his name, which is important to highlight here, that Ishboshet almost is not a person. He is only defined by his father, and the only reason why he's in this position is because who his father was. That's not a great reason to be the king of anything. So he happened to have two commanders, Shem Hachad Ba'ana, the Shem Hasheni Reicha. They were two guys, company commanders, warriors. They were presumably very, very close to Ishboshet. Bnei Rimon ha-be'eroti mi bnei Binyamin. Okay. They were children of Rimon, who was a well-known person from Be'eroti. He was a Be'erotiite who came from Binyamin. Kigam Be'erot techashev al Binyamin. The city of Be'erot, in which they come from, these two guys were brothers, Rechav and Bana. They're the son of Rimon from Be'eroti, right? From Be'erot. And Be'erot was also part of Binyamin. What the Radak is curious, as to this language. It was also part of Binyamin. Like, I mean, we don't know. Maybe we're not familiar with the map of the tribal cities. But if we went back to Sefer Yoshua, we'll know which cities belong to whom. What are we saying here? Gam Be'erot techasheva Binyamin. So the Radak fills in the blank, and he says after Shaul died in a war. It was a battle that happened. Shaul and Yonatan and two other sons, they all died in a battle. When that battle finished, the Plishtim very clearly won that war. That caused a lot of the Jewish cities that bordered on the Plishtim to retreat. It's very dangerous to live in a border city in general, especially when you're in Israel, right? I don't think the cities that are on the border, like, I don't know, Buffalo, which is on the corner of Canada, is so, lives in fear every single day. But if you're living in Eretz Israel and your border is the Plishtim, you have a sense of fear. There's a reality that people might come into your home anytime. They might wage war at any moment. You have to be aware. He says that the people that lived in the border towns, they retreated into different cities. So the people of Binyamin, they retreated into the city Beirut, which unfortunately is something we very much can relate to today, that all the Jews that are on the border cities are not living in the border cities today. Slowly, they're getting back in the south, very, very slowly. In the north, not at all. Not at all. The entire city of Metula has been evacuated. Shlomi has been evacuated. So many different cities, right? Because they're most susceptible to danger. So these people were from Be'erot. Ga'am Be'erot is part of Binyamin because it seems like it wasn't part of the original city of Binyamin. They needed to retreat. But they're also part of Binyamin. Shaul was part of Binyamin. So these are not just two trusted warriors that work or employees of the government or work for Ishboshet, but they are landsmen. They're landsmen of Ishboshet, which shows a stronger kesher between the two of them. Vayivrachu ha-be'erotim gitaima v'yusham garim ariyom hazeh. So this is what the pasuk here, the Radak fills in. The be'erotim ran away. They fled to Gitaima, and then they stayed there until that day. Uli Yehonatan, and now the Navi is going to tell us a very parenthetical statement right now, which later on is going to become very, very relevant. Uli Yehonatan ben Shaul. We know and love Yehonatan. Yehonatan and David were best friends, and they took care of each other. Yehonatan was was Shaul's son, and he also was killed in the battle with Shaul. Yehonatan had a son that had disabilities. He had a son who was a ben nechei raglayim. He was unable to walk. Nechei means weak in the legs. That's the phrase that is used in Tanakh for somebody that is paralyzed or is unable to walk for a variety of reasons. Ben Chamesh Shanim Haya Bevo Shmuat Shaul v'Yehonatan mi Yisrael. He was 5 years old when word came out that Shaul and Yonatan were killed in battle. And we've mentioned this before, that in other countries, when a king dies and another king takes over, what happens is that king that takes over murders the entire, king family, because they're afraid that one of those members of the king family, the royal family, might rebel. So here, Shaul dies, Yehonatan dies, the family finds out, they pick up their stuff, and they run away. Bivo Shmuat Shaul v'Yonatan Israel. So his omanto, he had a caretaker that took care of him. She grabbed him, meaning she carried him. As they were running away in haste, he fell, or she dropped him, and he became lame. He was unable to walk as a result of this. So that's like a parenthetical statement for now. It's going to be important to remember that there is a member of the royal family, David's best friend's son, Mephibosheth, who's unable to walk. So these two men that we were just introduced to go in the middle of the day, in the heat of the day, to Ishbosheth's home, to the palace. Okay, in the Chom Hayom. Why is that important? The Chom Hayom. No suspicions, no nothing. If you walk into somebody's house in the middle, most thefts and robberies take place late at night. People can't see you. You could hide a little bit better. They walk into the house smack in the middle of the day. Okay. Who shochev Ace Mishkav Tzaharayim, and Ishbosheth himself was napping. Okay, this is normal. It was normal for kings to take a nap in the middle of the day. In fact, some have like a moniker that there's like the king's nap. The king's nap means you take a nap in the middle of the afternoon. Okay, that's it's a unique thing for kings. V'hine bo atoch habayit. What happened? Vihine, this pasuk is a little bit vague. Vihine, Behena, Ba'u, and they came to the inside of the house, Lochei Chitim, purchasers of wheat purchasers. It is not clear who this pasuk is referring to. We have a little bit of a machlokas here. Some say this pasuk is referring to Rechav and Bana, that they came into the house dressed up as Lochei Chitim. They came up, even though people are familiar with them, they came in incognito, dressed up as other people. They knew the schedule back and forth. They knew how things worked. They knew that Ishbosheth would be sleeping and taking a nap at this moment, and that's what's happened. Or some say they came in while the wheat, was being dropped off. Every big house, in Shomrei Torah, the cookies for the kiddush get dropped off Thursday evening or Friday morning. Okay, we all know these happen at certain times during the day, so they knew the schedule, and they walked in at the same time with the Lochei Chitim, and they walked straight into the king's bedroom while the king was sleeping. Vayakuhu el hachomesh, and they struck Ishbosheth in the chomesh. We've learned this already. Honey's seen the video. Everyone can Google it themselves. The fifth rib. They killed him in the easiest way possible with the least amount of pain. The Rechav Bana Achiv Nimatu, and Rechav and Bana brothers, they ran away. Why do you think they went ahead and murdered their commander in chief? No. What do they gain? What are they doing here? How does this help? No. What does everyone think? Either they came in hiding, they came in with other people, and they went ahead and they just came in and they murdered Ishbosheth, their king. Any thoughts? Okay. So some say, the Radak says, presumably they had some type of fight with Ishbosheth. And they maybe had some type of argument with him, and they realized he wasn't deserved to become king. It's likely, it's possible. I'm not disagreeing with the Radak over here, but let's continue on the Psukim, and I think we'll see a motivation as to why they decided to kill the king. What do they do next? They run away. Where do they run to? They run home. They run out of the country. Where do they go? Vayavo habayis. Hu shochev al mitaso b'chadar mishkavo. Other people, right, come into the house. Sorry. Vayavo habayis hu shochev al mitaso b'chadar mishkavo v'yakuhu v'yimisuhu v'yisir es rosho v'yikhu es rosho v'yachu derech ha'arava kol halayla. So now the pasuk just describes it a little bit more in detail, that what exactly is happening over here. That they went into his bedroom, he was sleeping, and they killed him. After they killed him, vayakuhu, right, they hit him, they killed him. Vayasiru es rosho, I see Shiur, I see your face. They removed his head. They removed his head. They took it with them, right? I don't know how they carried it out of the house. They probably came, I guess, with some type of carry-on bag. And they removed his head and brought it with them. And they went and they traveled through the Arava the entire evening. Now, where are they going? Vayaviu as Rosh Ishboshet El David bechevron. Oh boy. They went to Chevron, to David HaMelech. And what do they tell David? Vayomru el HaMelech hine Rosh Ishboshet ben Shaul oivecha. Here is the head of Ishboshet, your enemy. Jabikesh es nafshecha. You want him dead. And here you go. You're welcome. No need to thank us. We did your dirty work for you, David. We chopped off the king's head. We know how much you hated Shaul, and you wanted Shaul dead. Hashem, through us, helped us get you Nakam. Avenge your life. You're welcome. The people don't necessarily trust that David wasn't involved in this. And in addition, they see the way the tides are turning, and the people closest to Ishbosheth want to curry favor with David. They want to make sure that when David eventually becomes king, David knows who is on his side. And who's on his side? Rechav and Bana. You know why? Here's the head of Ishbosheth. And we know how much you hated, and you wanted Shaul dead and all of his children. We know nothing could be further from the truth. Vayan David, es Rechav es Bana achiv b'nei Rimona be'eroti. Vayomer lahem, Chai Hashem asher pades nafshi mikol tzara. He begins by saying, thank you so much. I swear to God, thank you. Chai Hashem is this language of like, I swear to Hashem, who has saved me from all the tsaros in my life. You don't know what I did. I'll tell you a story. After Shaul died, the guy came to me. You know what he told me? He told me that he killed Shaul. We learned that in the beginning of Sefer Shmuel Beis. And he viewed himself as giving me the best news. Mivaser is the language that we use, that when Mashiach comes, it's going to be heralded in as a mivaser. It's like unbelievable news, amazing news. But you know what I did to him? I had him killed. He was Mori b'malchus. You killed the king? No way, not on my watch. That's not happening here. With that news that he gave me, I had him killed. And the two of you think you're doing something good? No way. You killed a good man, defenseless, sleeping in his bed. You are anashim rishayim. I'm asking for your blood from you. Blood is on your hands. You leave me with no choice. But I have to get rid of you. The two of you have to go. David doesn't just feel that he has to kill them because of the heinous thing that they did, murdering an innocent man for no reason, just to curry favor to somebody else. But he needs to make this into a very clear statement that this can't be done again. If he doesn't come out strong, what's going to happen? Avner was just killed. Now Ishbosheth. They're just going to go down the royal lineage of Shaul HaMelech. They're going to go to any friend of Shaul, and people will just go out in the droves thinking that this is okay. It is mutter. It's allowed to kill anyone related and connected to the previous regime. Right? Tzav David es hana'arim. David turns to his young men, his guys. Vayahargum. He kills. Reicha v'man. Is halacha. If you're Moer b'malchus, a king is allowed to kill you. And you don't need the regular rules of witnesses and warnings, etc. Veikatetsu es yedeihem es raglayim. Not only did he kill them, he needed this to be a statement. He had their hands and their arms cut off, which they used in the murder of Ishbosheth. Vayitzlu ala brecha b'Chevron, and he hung their bodies by a brook in Chevron. Why a brook? In ancient days, that's where everybody hung out. That was a public area. He needed to make a very clear and loud statement. This is not going to happen again. And they buried the head of Ishbosheth immediately with the next to the kever of Avner in Hebron. David is making it clear what his agenda is and what it's not. David is not running to become king. A. B. He is not vengeful against Shaul. He has nothing, he has no anger in his body against, in his bones, against Shaul HaMelech. And he wants to make that clear, right? Loud and clear with each of these statements that he is making. By giving hesped for Avner, punishing, cursing Yoav. All these things show a lot about David's character. What matters to him is shalom, is peace. That is the most important thing. Okay? With this, we finish the paragraph.
Rabbi?
Yeah, Yossi, go ahead.
Isn't it against halacha to mutilate a body?
Not unless there is a very strong reason to mutilate a body. David here felt this was a strong enough reason to mutilate the body to potentially squash a civil war. Right? When we're talking about autopsies aren't always usher. We generally assume they are, but if an autopsy is going to be used to save other people's lives, then it is 100% mutter. It's probably even a mitzvah to go ahead and do that. So David's probably using that logic that by mutilating the bodies here, that is saving other people's lives that will not be killed as a result. David's going to continue to do some questionable things, like off-mission things. We'll have to talk about each one of them on their own, and are they allowed? Are they not allowed? And where is he using his sources from? But Bezrat Hashem, next week, just in time to get ready for Yerushalayim, we will talk about Yerushalayim over the next two prakim, David's dream and vision of building the Beis HaMikdash. Has to start with him conquering or reconquering Yerushalayim, here Hazahav. I wish everybody a wonderful day.